I wanted to talk about something we don't hear an awful lot about in church today, and if you do, that's fantastic, but it's the exception, not the rule. I wanted to talk about the fear of God. At the end of May, I was at a small women's prayer group that I belong to, and my sister Deborah was talking about the fear of God. And the next morning, I was having my time with the Lord and reading my devotional Bible, and I was reading in the book of Acts. And I noticed a connection between the fear of God and, the way the first church was and how it lived. And I really felt God compelling me to study more on it. And that was May 31st, and it's now like August 21st, so it took me a while, but there is so much on the fear of God throughout the Bible, and I believe it's a key to everything, really, in our walk with Him. And so I decided to attempt to answer 4 questions. First one is, what is the fear of God? What happens when we fear God? What happens when we don't fear God? And how do we learn to fear God? So let's begin with the question of what is the fear of God? Now, as when you're translating into another language, there's going to be more than one word, means, or should I say one word that means many things. Things can get lost in translation, which is why it's always good to find out what the root word was in Greek or in Hebrew. So I broke down and figured out what fear meant, and I got more than one meaning depending upon where it was used and how it was used. For scriptures such as the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, the Hebrew word used is yirah, and it means fear, reverence, piety, fear, dreadful, exceedingly afraid. In the Gospels it'll often say fear God, and the word used there in Greek is phobio, obviously where we get phobia from, to fear, to be afraid, alarmed. The book of Acts and 2 Corinthians, phobos, fear, terror, respect, reverence. And let's not mistake it with, in 2 Timothy it says God hasn't given us a spirit of fear. That word is delilia, which I probably didn't pronounce right, and it means timidity or cowardice. So it means being a coward, which is a sin, unto death even. So oftentimes we will hear people say, the fear of God, yeah, we're to fear God, it means reverence Him because He is holy. And that is true. That is one of the meanings. But we are also to be afraid of Him, and that's one I want to show you is part of what the fear of God means. It really literally means fear, to be afraid of God. Okay, some of the scriptures I wanted to share of what the Bible says about the fear of God. Proverbs 8:13 says, "The fear of the Lord is to hate evil." Psalm 111:10 says, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom." Proverbs 9:10 says the same. Proverbs 15:33, "The fear of the Lord is the instruction of wisdom." Psalm 19:9, "The fear of the Lord is clean, enduring forever." 2 Corinthians 7:1, "Let us cleanse ourselves from all filthiness of the flesh and spirit, perfecting holiness in the fear of God." Okay, so if the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, then I obviously think that we have to fear God. We need wisdom, right? And it's the beginning of it. So it all starts when we fear God, okay? The next question is, what does fearing God do? Okay, what happens when we fear God? And I'm not going to quote all the scriptures, but I will reference them and you can look them up at your leisure. Exodus 18:21 says that it makes you a man of truth who hates dishonest gain. Okay, so fearing God will make you a man or woman of truth who hates dishonest gain. Fear of God keeps you from sinning. Exodus 20:20 says, "And Moses said to the people, 'Do not fear, for God has come to test you, and that His fear may be before you, so that you may not sin.'" So it's funny how he says, "Do not fear," but then fear of God. So again, 2 different kinds of fear. Okay. Proverbs 16:6 says, "And by the fear of the Lord one departs from evil." Okay. So again, fear of the Lord. Okay, and what else does fearing God do? It gives you long life. Okay, Deuteronomy 6:2 is a reference for this, and also Proverbs 10:27 says, the fear of the Lord prolongs days. And not only does it give you long life, it'll give you abundant life, a full life. Okay, Proverbs 19:23 says, the fear of the Lord leads to life, and he who has it will abide in satisfaction. He will not be visited with evil. So it's a satisfying life. And also reference for this is Proverbs 14:27 and Proverbs 22:4. Okay. Also, fearing God brings blessing. Okay, we all like blessings, and we all want blessings, you know. But this is the key to it: fearing God. Not saying just the right words, but fearing God. Psalm 128:1-4. Blessed is everyone who fears the Lord, who walks in his ways. When you eat the labor of your hands, you shall be happy, and it shall be well with you. Your wife shall be like a fruitful vine in the very heart of your house. Your children like olive plants all around your table. Behold, thus shall the man be blessed who fears the Lord. And other scriptures that support the abundant life, and maybe not in order, but Psalm 34:9, Psalm 111:5 gives food, Psalm 112:1, Psalm 115:13, and Proverbs 22:4, which says, by humility and fear of the Lord are riches, honor, and life. Okay? What else does fearing God do? It protects us and delivers us from our enemies. That's what God will do if we fear him. 2 Kings 17:39 is a reference. Psalm 34:7 says, the angel of the Lord encamps all around those who fear him and delivers them. Also, he will instruct us if we fear him. Psalm 25:12 says, who is the man that fears the Lord? Him shall he teach in the way he chooses. It also will make us obedient to authority. Colossians 3:22 says, obey in all things your masters according to the flesh, not with eye service as man-pleasers, but in sincerity of heart, fearing God. And what else does fearing God do? Well, I have a whole slew of things, okay? One is God shares his secrets with us, and we know him better. So we have intimacy with God, okay? So God will share his heart with us. Psalm 25:14, the secret of the Lord is with those who fear him, and he will show them his covenant. And also, which I'm going to mention later, is the story of Abraham. That, you know, God shared the whole thing about destroying Sodom and Gomorrah. So that's another reference. Okay, and what else does the fear of God do? Okay, it gives us healing and freedom. Malachi 4:2. His eyes are upon us, stored up his goodness for us, gives us a banner, fulfills our desires, favors us, has compassion on us, extends his loving kindness to us, his salvation is near to us, it will be well for us, a book of remembrance is written before him for us, you get praise, we're welcomed by him, it will be well with us and our offspring, we will follow the Lord, gives us strong confidence, I like that one, church growth, and miracle signs and wonders. Okay? So, how did the fear of God affect what some of the people in the Bible did? Well, one thing was the midwives saved the Hebrew babies, the male babies, when Pharaoh had told them to kill them. They feared God, so they didn't do that. Because of that, God rewarded them by giving them their own children in their household. And it caused Obadiah to hide God's prophets when Jezebel sought to kill them all. Abraham was willing to sacrifice his only son Isaac because he feared God. Joseph would not take his brothers' lives because he feared God, even though after everything they'd done to him. Nehemiah would not lay burdens on the people like prior governors had done because he feared God. Okay?